evening. Welcome to Film Forum, Atlanta's best movie talk show. We may be the only talk show, for all I know. I'm Steve Markos, and with me is Aron Siegel. Aron, I guess we have a great show for him again tonight.
Always a great show, Steve. Always a great show.
Nothing but good.
Nothing but the best.
All right. We have two films. Both are coming out this Friday. What do we have now, Aron?
Well, tonight we've got Strictly Ballroom, and we've also got Mad Dog and Glory.
All right. Sounds like two winners. And after that, we'll have our Critics' Choice. This week, we're doing gangster films. And then after that, we have our special guest, who Aron, of course, is in charge of rounding up the special guests. Aron, who's coming on tonight?
Well, we have a stuntman and a personal trainer from Powerhouse Productions. His name is Jeff Grippper.
All right. And so you need to stay tuned. If you have any questions or calls, you can call us. Questions for the guests, save them for the last part of the show, but we might as well get on with the movies. What do you want to review first?
Mad Dog and Glory.
All right. I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. Two-time Academy Award winner Robert De Niro stars with Bill Murray and Uma Thurman in the story of Wayne Doby, a timid police photographer sarcastically called Mad Dog, who inadvertently saves the life of gregarious local gangster Frank Milo, Bill Murray. In gratitude, Milo presents Doby with a gift, a beautiful young girl named Glory, Uma Thurman, who is to be his friend for a week. Complications develop when Mad Dog and Glory fall in love, and Milo announces he wants her back. And what we've got right now, we've got a scene from Mad Dog and Glory where Glory has just showed up at Robert De Niro's door, or Mad Dog's door. And here's the scene.
It's so rich, I can't believe it's instant. How's your hand?
Great. You know I'm a cop, right?
So I've been told.
Yeah, well, anyways, I have to go to work now.
So, I'll stay here?
Oh, this is my house, so,
I'm not gonna steal anything.
Look, what's Frank's phone number?
Talk to me before you talk to Frank, okay? Look, you saved his life. He wants me to be your friend for a week. That's all, I swear. I'm like a thank you present. I'm a 7-day singing telegram. I'm like one of those people that comes to your door in a gorilla suit or with balloons, you know?
Okay. Stop. Look, I gotta get out of here. I work straight through the night. I come back 6:37 in the morning.
No problem.
And that's a scene from Mad Dog and Glory, starring Robert De Niro, Uma Thurman, and Bill Murray. It also stars David Caruso and Mike Starrs, directed by John McNaughton. It opens this Friday.
And probably in a wide theatrical release. What do you think, Aron?
It's okay.
Okay.
I wasn't impressed with it. I mean, I was expecting a lot more from Robert De Niro, and especially Bill Murray. I was expecting this to be more of a comedy.
Well, to me, the whole thing, the direction of the film was very laid back, almost lackadaisical. It was almost like the director was so laid back, like he was stoned, and the pace of the movie, though not boring, you know, as far as excitement or interesting, I should say, was just no enthusiasm amongst the characters to me. They were boring characters, and I know they were supposed to be boring.
Well, actually, they seemed to be just going through the motions. They didn't really seem to really enjoy themselves while they were.
Right, that's the same feeling I got, because I know that Mad Dog is really supposed to be a boring kind of guy.
Well, he's timid, and he gets the nickname Mad Dog because he doesn't do anything that's really daring. I mean, he's a photographer.
And maybe De Niro played the role too well because he was too boring of a guy. He's the kind of guy no one would want to hang out with. He's not interesting.
Well,
I didn't really care about it.
This is also kind of reminiscent of his character as the fire chief in Backdraft.
I didn't see any correlation.
I saw that at the very beginning because he was called in on the case, and he was taking pictures and investigating and looking for bodies and stuff.
Just to me, the characters were boring. Uma Thurman, who I once fell in love with when I saw her naked in the Adventures of Barry Munchausen, she looked like hell most of the movie. She looked like she hadn't slept in 3 weeks. And at times she looked pretty.
She's getting older.
Well, I think the makeup people, I don't know what they were doing. I don't think they did it on purpose because other times she looked very pretty. Other times she had black circles under her eyes and she didn't look very attractive.
Well, maybe that's what they intended for her being just his friend.
Well, I was thinking that, but other times she did look all right. And that was the main problem I had with the film. Also, the story to me was so far-fetched. A gangster giving this girl to this guy for a week, and the ending, because of I'm not going to say the ending, but usually real gangsters would have resorted to violence. Bill Murray is a gangster that does stand-up comedy on the side.
Stand-up comedy,
It's
yes.
just too far-fetched for me. I just
So,
thought
how
it
many
was all right.
stars?
I'm just going to give it 1 star. I'd say,
And I'm going to give it 2 stars.
yeah, catch this on video. I wouldn't waste my $6
Or
on
do
it.
a matinee.
Matinee
Do a
at
for
best.
this.
All right, and now I guess we might as well get on to our second film, which is Strictly Ballroom, which opens this Friday. It's the story of ballroom dancer Scott Hastings and his pursuit to win the Pan-Pacific Grand Prix of ballroom dancing. Yes, there is ballroom dancing competition, as we learn in the movie. Now, Scott's a great dancer and maybe a little bit too good for his own good because he has happy feet, which means he likes to invent his own moves, and in ballroom dancing, that's a no-no, which we also learn. So basically, all the girls that he danced with get sick of getting disqualified every time, so he has no one to dance with. And as the Pan-Pacific Grand Prix approaches, he is without a partner. Enter Fran, a homely-looking girl from the local dance studio with a couple of years' experience under her belt. She volunteers to be his partner, and at first he laughs in her face. And she persists, so he gives her an audition just so that he can humiliate her and show her that she has no business dancing. As the movie progresses, he finds that he can actually teach her, and she could actually be pretty good, and he kind of starts to fall in love with her. And as the Grand Prix approaches, we find out that Tina Sparkles, the premier dancer, is now without a partner, and the powers that be want Scott to dump Fran and dance with Tina because they feel dancing with Fran will be a career-ending move. And we're going to look at a scene where his original dance partner, she's left him, and now he comes back because she feels that he has changed his mind and going to dance regular, but we find out during the dance he has no intentions of giving up his happy feet.
No! I don't want this! I don't want this!
What do you want?
What do I want? I'll tell you what I want. I want 10 railings to walk in here right now and say Pam Short's broken both her legs and I want to dance with you!
Pam Short's broken both her legs, and I want to dance with you.
All right, that's a scene from Strictly Business, which should be opening this.
Strictly Ballroom.
Strictly
Business
Ballroom.
was last year, I think.
All right. Silly mate.
Strictly Ballroom, which opens up
This Friday.
This Friday.
This is again from Australia with a no-name cast.
And this is also from Miramax, the same people that brought us The Crying Game earlier this year.
And from what I've read, this was the hit movie at the Cannes Film Festival last year.
Oh, really?
People
Okay.
love this film. I love the movie. I thought this was one of the best movies I've seen so far this year. It's a feel-good movie, a lot of dancing, a romance. It's also interesting to find out about this ballroom competition, which most people here in the United States have no idea that such a thing exists. So I found that interesting, and the romance, etc. I enjoyed very, very much.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
I wasn't really thrilled with the film.
And why not?
To be quite honest, I guess I didn't really relate with the characters at all, and the script and the outcast. To me, it was just too predictable and too ho hum.
Ho hum.
Too ho hum.
Well, the predictability, yeah, you've got a romance, and you kind of know what's going to happen, obviously. But I loved it. Like I said, a big hit at the film festivals, and a lot of people will compare this to Dirty Dancing.
Kind of, yeah.
All right, but the only similarities between this and Dirty Dancing
Is
is
the
that,
dancing.
Yeah, they have two male professional dancers who need a partner, and they pick up a girl who has no experience and train her to dance in a competition. Beyond that, Dirty Dancing is more maybe 80% romance, 20% dancing. Strictly Ballroom is probably 50-50, if not 60% dancing. There's a lot of dancing.
There is a lot of dancing in the film.
It's more of a dance film than romance, but a
Maybe
enjoyable
that's
romance.
another reason that I didn't
So
really.
you don't get into the dance. I enjoyed
Yeah,
dancing.
well, it wasn't so much I didn't get into the dancing. It's just I wanted more from the script.
But do you
than I
think
got.
that girls will like it? I think that girls will love this.
Oh,
movie.
girls will probably like this.
I think that the actor girls will love. He kind of looks like Tony Danza. What was neat about the script, or about the movie, is usually you have the homely-looking girl with the glasses and her hair up. She takes the glasses off, puts her hair
It's
down.
a magical
She's
transformation.
Miss America. Well, here she takes her glasses off and lets her hair down, and she's just average-looking, which is
So-
kind of different. I think a lot of people will relate to that, to say, here's a movie with average-looking girls,
Yeah.
not some beautiful person. It was just kind of different than most films.
Okay.
And I give this movie 4 stars. I've been recommending it. We saw it a month ago.
Yeah, I'm going to give this film 2 stars.
Yeah, a month ago we saw it, and I've been telling everyone about it. So we have a big difference here. That averages out to 3. Remember, we're on a 4-star system, so 3 is still above average.
This is true.
All right, so from here, I guess we might as well get on.
We want to remind everybody we're a call-in show. The number here is 873-6713. So if you disagree with us, or if you have any gripes or complaints about what's going on, then just give us a call, 873-6713.
Or if you just want to chat, remember.
Yeah, if you just want to chat. So.
All right, well, let's get on with the Atlanta Top 10.
Okay, we're going to take a look at the Metro Atlanta box office. These are films that you went to see this past weekend, and this is a chart that you are absolutely responsible for. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Number 10 is A Few Good Men. It drops from number 9. It's the 11th week in the top 10. And number 9 this week is Untamed Heart. It drops 1 notch from number 8 of last week. Number 8 is Army of Darkness. Bear in mind, this is something that you all are going to see. So it's fading fast as it drops from number 4 to number 8. Number 7, falling out of the top 5 after 14 weeks, is Aladdin. Number 6 is, for the second week in a row, is The Crying Game.
And remember, that was just released widely since the Academy Award nominations came out. That's actually been out since around Christmas time.
Right. And
Usually
it's got 6 Academy Award nominations.
Yeah, usually it's just been at one theater. Now it's like at 16 here in Atlanta.
Right. So, and number 5 debuting here is Leprechaun. And we're not even going to make a comment about that probably at least until St. Patrick's Day.
I don't think I will get to see it even then.
Summersby falls from number 3 to number 4. And at number 3 this week is Falling Down. It's the highest debuting film this week.
And nationally, that's number 1. Falling Down.
Which we reviewed last week.
Yeah.
Number 2, for the second week in a row, is Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. This is a remake of the Disney classic by Disney.
Yeah,
And it has voices. It has a lot of talent from Look Who's Talking and Look Who's Talking 2. The animals are performed by Michael J. Fox and a number of other celebrities. So, and at number 1 for the 3rd week in a row is Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
And No More Sin of a Woman, which drops out after 8 weeks, and Loaded Weapon is out of the top 10. That lasted about 3 weeks.
Yes.
All right, now let's come. Well, I guess we're back. So
why don't we take a phone call?
Oh, do we have a phone call?
Yes.
All right, caller, you're on the air.
Hello, caller.
We lost the caller.
We
Call
lost the
back
caller.
in a little while.
Please call back, caller.
All right, well, let's get on with our Critics' Choice. Like I said, since we did Mad Dog and Glory, which was kind of a comedy gangster film, we're going to tell you about our favorite 3 gangster movies of all time. Aaron, what's your 3?
Well, there were a lot of gangster films to choose from. I picked 3 of them, and 3 sets of gangster films. My first one was the 1987 Brian De Palma film, The Untouchables, starring Kevin Costner and Robert De Niro, who just happened to be in our gangster film today. This film is like a remake of the old TV series, The Untouchables. And it has a script by David Mamet. It's very good. It's about a bunch of Chicago gangsters, Robert De Niro as the Al Capone character, and Kevin Costner as the leader of the police department that is going to track down, the leader of the federal bureau to track down and try and put Al Capone into jail. My number 2 film is the 1990 film directed by Martin Scorsese called Goodfellas. This only took 1 Academy Award. It was for Joe Pesci as Best Supporting Actor. And this also has Robert De Niro in it. This film also was nominated for 6 Academy Awards. It's the story of Ray Liotta, who wants to become a gangster so bad that he actually eventually becomes one and faces the consequences. And my number 1 of the gangster films is all 3 Godfather movies, which is now called the Godfather Epic. They were made in 72, 74, and 1990, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, all 3 of them. And 72 and 74 took home Academy Awards for Best Picture and also Best Actor for Marlon Brando and Best Supporting Actor for Robert De Niro, respectively, 72 and 74. This is the story of the Corleone family, an Italian family that immigrates to America and realizes that there's a lot more money in crime than there is in anything else. Those are my top 3.
All right, now I'll go on with my favorite 3. First, I'd give an honorable mention of Godfather 1 and 2 and Bonnie and Clyde. Those are my honorable mentions. Number 3, an interesting movie that came out in 1984 by Sergio Leone is called Once Upon a Time in America. Sergio Leone, if you've seen any of his spaghetti westerns, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, etc., has a lot of symbolism, a lot of slow, deliberate pans and camera angles, a lot of creative work in his films, and he does in this film. I find this movie every bit as good as the Godfather films. However, I like this movie better because the Godfather tends to focus more on the Italian-American experience and the Italian customs, a lot of weddings, etc., whereas Once Upon a Time in America is America, 1920s, 1930s New York, and I love that setting. I love movies that are in New York at that time period. It took home no Academy Awards, mainly because in America this was released as a 2-hour movie. Every critic that you'll ever hear about says the 2-hour movie is a travesty. Characters come and go. The plot is just incomprehensible. Reason why, the movie was originally 3 hours and 40 minutes long, and everyone you'll ever hear, including me, says that the long version is a cinematic masterpiece. The video in the stores is all usually the 4-hour movie, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Make sure you get that one. It's a story of 4 Jewish youths who grow up as street youths and become gangsters. They're not mafia, they're just small-time hoods, and this was Robert De Niro and James Wood. So we do have a precedent that most good gangster movies are De Niro and are very, very long, also Al Pacino. Anyway, number 2, 1983 remake of the 1932 Howard Hawks classic Scarface. This time around it's by Brian De Palma. Out of all the gangster films, this is the most action, most shoot-'em-up oriented, and the most Hollywoodized version. This is with Al Pacino, and he gave one hell of a performance. He was not nominated for Academy Award. I think this is one of the all-time great Academy Award injustices. I think the highbrows down at the Academy felt that anyone that's cussing every other word and killing people should not be nominated. He is fantastic as a Cuban refugee that came over here during the Carter administration and worked his way up as a drug underlord into cocaine. It's set down in Miami. Wonderful shoot 'em up, a lot of violence, originally rated X, and they had to cut down some of the violence. And my favorite of all time, and not only the best gangster movie, one of the best films of all times, is Goodfellas, 1990. Aaron also liked this. This is the most interesting because it's a story of Henry Hill and follows him from the 40s when he was just a kid running errands for the gangsters, for the mafia, until he became finally arrested for cocaine and became a federal witness and went into the witness protection program. This is a biography. This is very interesting because there's a lot of inside information on the mafia. A lot of narration by Henry Hill, who tells you how the mafia works. This is the closest you'll get to the mafia without joining up. A lot of awards. If it wasn't for Dances with Wolves, I think that Goodfellas would have taken home most of the Academy Awards. Joe Pesci, great performance. Lorraine Bracco, nominated for supporting actress. Best Picture, Best Director, Adapted Screenplay, and Editing nominations. Most lost out to Dances with Wolves. And those are my 3 favorites.
Okay, why don't we take this phone call that we got here?
All right,
Hello,
caller,
caller,
you're on the air.
You've been waiting very patiently. Why don't you tell us what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to know. I asked a question about 2 pop stars. The Bodyguard and Body of Evidence both got, I think, bad reviews. But most people I talk to like the Bodyguard, but they don't like Body of Evidence. I was just wondering how much each movie made.
Bodyguard was a big hit. It was in the top 10 for a long, long time.
Body of Evidence lasted maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, Body of Evidence we didn't like. I thought Bodyguard had its ups and downs. It was great at some points and slow at other points. I felt it was an average movie.
I don't know how long you've been watching the program. Over the past few weeks, we list what it grosses in Atlanta, so you might want to check those grosses when the charts are on the screen for our Metro Atlanta box office, and that'll give you an idea of if the film stayed in the top 10, at least in Atlanta, for that long a period of time. It had to have made a lot of money.
It was probably one of the bigger hits of 1992 with The Bodyguard. Body of Evidence came and went within a couple weeks, and it was really not a good film.
Thank you, Colin.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, see ya.
All right. Why don't we take a look at the home video releases?
Yeah, let's get on with the home video releases. Now, these are coming out this week, and let me see what we've got here. We have Of Mice and Men, which will be coming out. Singles, which we reviewed once. I thought it was an okay movie. I gave it a couple stars.
That was like the supposedly the big chill of the teenagers. and
The
stuff.
problem with Singles is it focused more on what it was like to be single instead of developing any characters. But I
Right.
gave it about 2 stars. Also, Whispers in the Dark will be coming out on video this week.
That's got Alan Alda in a supporting role, and
All right, and on pay-per-view TV this week, we have Single White Female, which is like the Hand That Rocks the Cradle type thing. I felt Hand That Rocks the Cradle was much better. Single White Female was all right. Stay tuned. Raising Cain and Trancers 3 Death Lives. I don't even know what happened to Trancers 2, but obviously didn't stay around for long.
okay. And are we back? And we're back. Each week on Film Forum we have a special guest. This week is no different. This week we have Jeff Grippper of Powerhouse Productions. Jeff is a personal trainer and a stuntman, and I understand he's worked on various films around the city, and we'd like to go ahead and welcome Jeff to the show. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Oh, it's a great pleasure
How you
to be
doing,
here.
Jeff? Glad to meet you.
We want to go ahead and start by asking you a simple question. How does somebody train to be a stuntman?
Well, for myself, I have some friends that are stunt people, and I was a personal trainer in Heat of the Night, and for Howard Rollins Jr. And I asked him, I wanted to be in some of the shows, and I met the stunt coordinator, Jeff Dasnor, and he let me do some stunts there, and he showed me some moves. I met some other stunt coordinators. They showed me some moves and showed me how to fight, fall, get shot, the whole 9 yards. And next thing I know, I was a full-fledged stunt person.
So when you said you were his personal trainer, you're talking for staying in shape, or
Right.
you were training him for fight scenes?
I was training him to stay in shape.
And what did you do? You said you were kickboxing, right?
I was a welterweight world champion, PKA world champion in kickboxing.
That's great.
Yeah, and I retired in 1983.
And so most of you say you do a lot of fight scenes. When you say stunt work, most of them are doing with
Right,
fights.
fight scenes. I did one scene called a squib shot, is where they place explosive on your chest, under your shirt, and they have wires running down your leg, and there's someone off stage, and when the person shoots you, they'll time it so that they press the explosive so that the bullets look like they're exploding out of my chest.
What show was that on?
That was in the Heat of the Night.
That's great. Listen, we've got a caller that wants to ask you a question. Hello, caller. Do you have a question for our guest?
Yeah, I do have a question.
All right.
I was wondering how basically you get into the stunt industry, and basically if it's it's a career you're going to keep on having and for the future.
It's pretty hard. The way I got into stunt, I met Mark Harmon, and he said that I needed to use my martial arts background to get into acting, because that's what I want to do, is be an actor. And he said that I should try to get into stunts. And just by being on the set of In the Heat of the Night, it was really how I got started in stunts. And it's really a closed club. It's really hard to get into, so you need to be within that genre in order to become a stunt person.
Who would somebody call to become a stuntman in the
Well,
Atlanta area?
there's a few stunt coordinators. Lonnie Smith is one of the stunt coordinators. He works for...
No relation to the baseball
Yeah,
player.
ever since he
No,
quit
no,
playing
no.
baseball.
no, this is a different Lonnie Smith, but that's I've done a lot of work with him. I don't have his number, but you can look it up in the phone book.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
So it seems like getting the stunt work is really knowing somebody, because it's so dangerous. You obviously can't go down there and just do a stunt.
Right.
You really have to know people and have them train you. Is that
A
the way it
lot of
works?
other things that I'm also a stunt double, and that's what they use you for also. Like I've done some things in the Heat of the Night where I had to take punches for the star, and they usually try to get a person that looks exactly like the person that's playing that role, and you'll step in and take the punches or the fall or whatever needs to be done for that actor.
Okay, we've also got another call for you. Oh, you have a question for Jeff, caller?
Yes, I do. I wanted to ask him, what is the best stunt he's ever done? His most favorite? Can you tell us about it?
Your favorite stunt?
I think it was a fight scene with Alan Autry, and it
Is
was
that in Living Large?
No, this was in the Heat of the Night, where he really beat me up. It was on a stage. I mean, it was on a bridge. It was a scene called The Accused. A little scenario was when Bubba was accused of rape in this scene, and he came to our neighborhood trying to get the lady to recant her story, and the guys in the neighborhood just decided we were going to jump him, and we got him on the bridge, and he just really beat us up really bad.
Thanks a lot, caller. Can you tell us about Living Large? You mentioned something about that.
Yeah, Living Large. It used to be called The Tapes of Dexter Jackson.
The Tapes of Dexter Jackson.
Right, and they changed to Living Large. We did a scene where we jumped Dexter and really beat him up in an alley, and they allowed me to use my martial arts, my kicks and punches, and what they did. The scene was so real, and the movie's supposed to be a comedy, that it was just too violent for the movie. So it ended up on a cutting room floor.
So your chance at fame there is on the floor somewhere.
But I did get paid.
All right, sounds great.
That's about all the time we've got tonight. Thanks a lot for coming down, Jeff.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
We want to remind everybody to tune into Film Forum next Wednesday night at 10 p.m. when we'll have 2 new feature releases. We'll also be having our Critics' Choice, which will be superheroes, and our special guest will be a location recordist, somebody that goes on location to do audio work. And that's the show for this week. See you next Wednesday.